Hey everybody, welcome back to the Ven Vamos Podcast. Today we have attorney Vanessa Torres Barcena, a mother, wife, and family lawyer.
How are you?
Lo aquí, tú sabes, tranquilo.
I'm good.
If you were not a lawyer, right, because you are, what would you be?
A millionaire stay-at-home mother.
Oh, I wish too. Stay-at-home father? But you like being a mom?
So yes, I am an attorney at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
but my main job in life is to definitely be a mom. I have 3 children, a 2, 3, and 13-year-olds. They take up all my time gladly, but that's what brings me the most joy.
Right, like fulfillment.
Children, yeah, absolutely. Children bring me the most fulfillment.
What is it like seeing them grow up, take your leadership and like, oh, like I made this creature and he became a badass or she became a badass?
So it's about directing them to success, right? Giving them all the skills, giving them the opportunities I myself never had growing up, to be able to make them the best person they could be, the best humans, because that's our goal at the end of the day as parents.
Yeah.
We are building and creating wonderful, productive human beings for this world to make a difference, positive, hopefully, impact on this planet.
Yeah. You have 3 of them. That's it. Like, why not 2 more? You can have a basketball team.
No, I'm 40 years old. No more children
Yeah.
for me, man. It's
And
enough. They're
how
very
was-
expensive.
Man, and it probably got more expensive.
Yeah. School is expensive. Tuition's expensive. So
From your first child to your last child, what are some of the differences that you've seen? Not so much in like your parenting style, but more like in our culture.
in our culture, well, definitely social media has changed the direction of how we can parent as children, our children, because really we can do only so much at home, and we hope that our children take everything that we say and they implement it in their own lives. But then you have these outside factors that are constantly, we're at war all the time with these outside factors, whether it's friends who pretend they're actually enemies, really trying to
That fake.
divert
Yeah.
their future, their influence that are sometimes positive, mostly negative. So there is that change that has really changed the way that we parent. I mean, it's social media, it's the internet.
Yeah, like I think, and again, I'm not a parent yet. I hope to be, and I want a basketball team. I say that, but then I'm like, I bet it's very expensive.
Very expensive.
But I feel like kids grow up way too fast now.
They do.
Like back in the day, you were still playing with dolls until you were like 13, 14, and now like dolls and just like this very innocence, like the innocence is lost so quickly. So what do you like, what do you think is gonna happen in the future if social media keeps going the way it goes?
A lot of mental health crisis. Not just mental health from people that are naturally just inclined genetically to have some type of mental health issues, but if you don't fit into the crowd. I'm going to give you my theory at home and one of my rules: no social media until you're 16, no cell phones until you're going into high school, right? So I'm dealing with a battle in my own home right now because her friends make fun of her and they
That pressure.
bully her. Oh,
Yeah.
you don't have a phone, you're an iPad kid. You why don't you have Snapchat? Oh, you're so lame. And it's, instead of like, I'm trying to bring back the focus to, you are being a trendsetter. You're not going to fall into the crowd. You're not going to, I need to frame it a different way, but it's an uphill battle. Like literally I am swimming in a rip current, like going in the wrong direction. That's like the best way that I can put it.
No, and I can totally see it because I remember when I was in high school, it was Facebook. Like Facebook no, middle school really, but point is, like, I grew up that time. I grew up when social media just started, and it was like, oh, you don't have a MySpace? Oh, that's weird. And now if you don't have social media, it's like, are you like a serial killer? Like, what's going on here? Es all difícil because you're, like you said, like you have to fight that pressure, and yeah, you can be as endearing and as wanting to help, but at that age, it's problematic. They're gonna listen to their social group and they're gonna chase. So, man, ¿qué te iba a decir? With social media, what is the solution, you think? Like do you think there should be something that's like policed more, or is that like the parents' job?
It's the parents' job.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. I think that parents need to start being better parents, stop allowing these phones to act as babysitters. I get that, depending on the demographic, the financial ability of certain families, there are parents who don't have that luxury, right? Because they have to work 2-3 jobs to make ends meet. We're dealing right now, Miami-Dade County, we have like a crisis going on that people don't talk about. I have a lot of clients having to file petitions for relocation. And I don't know if you know what that is. It's if there's already some type of order here, at least in Miami-Dade County.
Yeah, like for them to be able to move, they need to get a court approval.
Correct, more than 50 miles because they can't afford to live here. I have clients that are moving without that court approval because they don't have a job here. They're moving to Gainesville. They're moving to the West Coast, to Naples, Fort Myers, anywhere else where they have the ability to like, you know, make ends meet where they can't do it now. So these parents are working three jobs perhaps, and the babysitter is nowhere to be found. So what do? They're left unattended. You're left unattended. These children have not developed their frontal, what is it? The
cortex, frontal lobe.
Yeah, there we go. They're still children. They don't know what's right, what's wrong. They're letting people influence them. They're bullying kids. Parents don't know that they're bullying. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. Before the school year ended last year, this poor boy was jumped by 3 kids. These are 13-year-olds who jumped another child while playing soccer because they wanted to.
Yeah, porque le salió.
Where were the parents?
Right.
How do you not know that this kid had been bullying, your children had been bullying this child throughout the school year? And this was just the catalyst, right? So I think that we have to do a better job as parents. We need to take accountability. And if you can't be that better parent, don't give your child a cell phone.
Yeah, you know, it's so crazy, like, just our relationships with cell phones. Like, you could forget your wallet and you'll drive to work without your ID. But, and you won't go back. You're like, oh, I'll be late. But if you leave your phone, you'll go right back. And then that's something that I've noticed even with myself and my peers. And it's this concept of being together, but alone. Like, when these kids hang out, they're together, pero dos están en el teléfono.
Yeah.
Texting each other while literally being 5 feet away, sending each other TikToks, whatever. And it's like, there's no more social skills. There's no more like, hey, let's like live in the moment. It's like this virtual digital life. Yeah,
which is going to affect the mental health of all these generations going forward.
Yeah, I feel like there should be like, at this point, like in schools, like, you know how there was like a home economics or there was a wood shop? There should be like how to like be a digital person or like how, you know what I'm saying? Like how, like a course on how to live in our times, you know?
No,
pero ellos quitaron todo eso, the wood shop.
Did they?
There was no more wood shop when I went to school.
Really? There was when I graduated high school.
But you know what I mean? Like,
I was in
skills.
2003. I'm old. I've aged myself, but you know, we had wood shop, we had home ec. I had home ec my senior year, first period, South Miami, and it was. I don't think it helped, to be honest.
Really? She's like, no, I still cook horribly.
It was like the easy class. Yeah. Like we just knew, like, I needed one easy class for senior year. It would be home ec.
But I think at the end of the day, like a school's responsibility is to obviously educate the future, and it's not just theoretical. Like you need the practical. So, por ejemplo, like if I had wood shop, maybe I would know how to like change a light bulb or like listen, I can like fix, like not fix, but I can change a tire. Pero de eso de nail something and like drill something into I can't mount a TV. You know what I mean? Maybe in wood shop I would have learned how to mount a TV or whatever, but oh my God. I really think that is a big issue, the whole social media. And also it's like your self-esteem, right? Like you spend all day judging yourself by what you see on the internet and nobody posts a bad picture on Instagram.
No, everything is a facade. I mean? How many clients of mine, current, past, post pictures with their perfect family, but I know the true story behind it.
Ooh, that's the real tea.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you know how many people? I mean,
probably all of them. Because no one's perfect.
Not all of them. Well, no one's perfect, but I'm saying like you're actively going through a divorce. Somebody's cheating on the other. I mean, we're talking about the dissolution of an intact relationship, but to
the world
is perfect, right? So that's what I'm trying to convey to my daughter, my 13-year-old, obviously. What you see out there is not the truth. It's like the Truman Show. It's just a complete. It's all fake. I don't even know how else to convey that to her, but that's just the society that we're living in.
Yeah, you have the insider scoop, and it's funny because I feel like the people who really want you to think that they're perfect and all intact are probably the people that are going through the most problems. Yep. You know, there was a study that says if you don't post your partner or your life, you're probably happier.
Yes and no, right? Because then we have the extreme. We have the philanderers down here, which are in high quantities, right? Who don't post because they're actively doing something with somebody else, right? So we have to balance that. There has to be a healthy medium. I mean, for me, I only have social media because of my business. I had this epiphany last year in the Highlands in Scotland, in Drumnacrochet.
Say that one time?
I'm gonna probably butcher it.
No, say it again.
Drumnacrochet.
That sounds exotic.
It's where Loch Ness is. The
Loch Ness
Monster is supposed to be, yeah.
Did you see it?
No, because it doesn't exist.
But what if it actually does?
Then you know what? Then I missed it. I missed the Loch Ness. But we were staying over there, and I was sitting, watching my children like jump on the trampoline in this beautiful Airbnb. And I sat and I was posting something, and I thought, why am I showing the world what I'm doing? Like, why do they care what I'm doing? Why do I care about their opinions of my life?
It's validation.
And I just deleted, and I haven't seen it back. Like, it's done.
But I think there is something about the immediate gratification that posting something unique that other people aren't doing. It's a dopamine hit. It's like, oh, I'm in Scotland finding the Loch Ness Monster, and everybody's like, oh my God, that's so cool, 100 likes, and then you're like, oh, yeah, this is really cool, and then you feel good about yourself. And I'll imagine that same thing over a course of 10 years, and not just, obviously that's very unique, pero that applied to every aspect of your life, and now there is no privacy because you're searching that validation from people who don't even like you.
But do you think that, and I don't mean to ask you a question
No,
now,
please ask me a question. No,
don't you feel like those are people that are really almost like shells of a human, where they're missing so much inside that they need these outside factors to validate their existence?
I think it goes back to what is your driving force. Most people, and I'll be very vulnerable, like I am externally motivated, but I think what lasts is your internal motivation, like your conviction. Social media explota the external, the car, how you look, how people think about you. And I think, especially, staying on the youth conversation, when you're young and you want things, mix that with instant gratification, you forget your internal chasing the external. Whereas I think the people that are most successful on social media, while yes, they post externally, and there is this external stimulant, have kept their internal as their guiding post. And you can see that through the amount of BS.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I think that's the content that wins. Pero again, there is no teacher for it. And I do think it takes some time to master it, or you may never do it. But no, definitely, que eso leaves you wanting more and more. And it's like, okay, yeah, you posted your new car, and then there's somebody with a nicer car. So you're like, I need a better car. You know what I'm saying? And it just messes up your priorities.
Yeah. See, for me, I've never cared what people thought about me since I was a child.
When did you identify that? Like, when did you realize that?
When my mother started comparing me to others. Oh, you should be like so-and-so. I don't care to be like so-and-so.
Did that cause a friction between you and your mom?
Oh, yeah. I mean, amongst other things, but.
Yeah. And how was, like, would you say that was like early, or like kind of like your teenage years? And that comparison was like, oh, Menganita está trabajando en esto y tú no estás haciendo esto. Like, how was...
So your first question, yes, early. I can't pinpoint, probably like around 12, 13.
Yeah.
During puberty, you start coming to be your own person. And it was more like, if I brought home a B, well, Sophia brought home an A. Why couldn't you be more like Sophia, right? And so that starts to play into, well, I'm not good enough. And then if you are constantly having a parent who is reinforcing that you're not good enough mentality, it starts to affect you, obviously, right? And then you start believing that you're not good enough. And then there's other mental health issues that arise from that. There's some certain types of codependency that you can start to exhibit because of that upbringing.
And I can imagine in your cases, you see that played out as well. Like the things that you lived through in your childhood, you see in other cases.
I do, unfortunately. I see a lot of parents, and I'm going to say this generally, parents, whether you're in a heterosexual couple, homosexual couple, it doesn't matter, male, female, a lot of parents are using their children as pieces in a chess game to gain advantage over the other. And that is disgusting because your children never asked to be brought into this world.
Right.
They are extremely vulnerable, just like our elderly. These are the most vulnerable individuals in our society.
Yeah.
And you need to protect them at all costs. And if your gripe is with your ex-spouse or ex-partner.
Right, using the kid as collateral.
Correct. Like, why?
And it's really interesting you bring that up because I have lived that firsthand. I grew up primarily my whole life in a 2-parent household. My parents got divorced when I was 21, and they got divorced because of their business, right? Like, I think, and that's why I always tell everybody, I was like, I could never be with somebody that I work with because I saw how that decay with my father and my mother, So during that divorce process, I literally saw both my parents try and make me be a part of their side to kind of pressure the other into doing what the other wanted. And, what I did was I just left. Like, I literally ran away. I'm 21, so it's not like you're running away, like, in the sense of, like, go find my son. No, I ran away, but really I just moved to the other side of the country to work. So I was going to do that anyways, regardless of the divorce, but I ran away. And a big regret I have is that I basically told both my parents, oye, mira, este problema es tuyo. Don't put me in it at all. And the moment you bring it up, I'm just going to shut down and I'm going to literally just stop talking to you. And I did. And I wish that I would have been a little bit more lenient with my mom because I think that, not because of the whole man-woman thing, but I really genuinely think she took it way more emotionally and way more hurt. And I feel like as a son, I wasn't there for her in that moment. But my excuse was like, Mommy, you're like, I feel like you're using me. Like, you want me to go to my dad and motherfuck him and da-da-da-da-da because you feel a certain type of way, or you're trying to influence my perception of my dad because you feel this way. And while I respect how you feel, I still love my dad, regardless of what y'all got going on.
But you shouldn't feel bad about that.
I did feel a little bad about that.
You don't, why? Because we are adults and we should not expect our children to be our parents. We should be able to deal with our own emotions. We should not rely on our child to be our therapist, to be our messenger. We are the adults for a reason. If that doesn't give your child the reins to run the household. No. A lot of parents are using their children as a therapist. Like, oh my God, your dad said this. Oh my God, your mom did this. Tell her that I'm not going to drop you off at this time. And it's like that, what are you doing to your child? You are not only damaging your child on a fundamental basis because, number one, these children may or may not want to grow up to have their own families. Right? And a lot of people are not having children, and we don't really want that. The children are necessary for this world to continue, right? I'm not going to talk about the politics on that issue, but it's the truth, right? Yeah. But you are fundamentally damaging somebody and their future relationships because not everyone is capable of breaking cycles.
And if you see it exposed and that's what you're very likely to continue it.
Absolutely. And that's what I see. A lot of parents that come to me, they're like, well, my parents did this to me, and now I'm in this situation. I'm like, and you didn't learn from your mistakes or your parents' mistakes? Did you not think? For me personally, I saw what my parents did. They did the best they could because that's how I can...
Put in words.
That's all I'm going to say about that, right?
Yeah.
They did the best they could with the emotional intelligence that they had at the moment. But I knew what I was not going to do. Which is that.
Which is what you learned from observing, because you knew I'm better than this.
Correct.
Or I deserve better, or I mean to do better.
Or my children deserve better.
Yeah.
Because if I decide to have kids, I'm not going to allow somebody to abuse my child. I'm not going to treat my child like that messenger. I'm not going to give my child responsibilities. I'm going to give you the perfect example, right? I have a 2 and 3-year-old, 13-year-old.
Very big
Very
range.
Different. Yeah. Different parents, different fathers, right? I'm married to the man that I have the 2 and 3-year-old, and he's the best father that I could possibly have for my 13-year-old. But, damn it, I lost my train of thought.
No, don't worry. Go back.
Hold on, where was I going?
Emotional intelligence.
No. Oh, that within everyone that tells me your daughter must help you with the kids all the time, right? She must do this. I go, no, because that's not her responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have her being another mom and helping raise a child that she didn't agree to be brought into this world.
She was brought into the conversation.
So I there's just a lot of things that I do differently where other people just they just I don't know. Maybe they agree with it, maybe they don't. But I like to break cycles.
I like that you brought up
Unhealthiness.
the concept of emotional intelligence because, for example, like I'm at that age where like I'm wanting to like want kids, like me and my partner we talk about we're not married yet and I would want to have a kid like in wedlock and be very traditional in that regard. But I've been kind of examining who I'd be as a dad, and then I'm like I kind of tell myself I'm like would I be a good dad? Like I don't know. Like
I'm sure you will.
I know, but I feel like I'd be like a real like a hard ass. Like I don't know, and I hope it's a boy, so I feel like it'd be easier. I don't know. I feel like boys are easier.
I can't say. I mean, my boy is like he's the apple of my eye.
Yeah.
He's the sweetest boy on planet Earth. I promise you that kid is in this world and he's going to do something positive.
Awesome.
Just because he has the heart of an angel. My girls are me. They are my mini me's, and I can't get mad at it because they have my sass. They're my daughters, and I'm not tougher on her than I am with a boy. So I don't think you would be.
I don't know. I feel like that's probably like just like like my stereotypes, like what I assume. Pero I look at parenting and I this is the comparison I do. My mom had me when she was 26, and my father when he was 29. I'm 28. I'm right in the middle of both of them, and I'm like, man, if I would put myself in their position at this age with what I know, and in Cuba, it's like there's no manual on how to be a parent. So you kind of have to make this up as you go and just try your best. But sometimes your best might not be enough, and sometimes you let the emotions get the best of you. So I think the emotional intelligence matters most in picking the right partner. And I don't even, would you say that timing is an important factor?
No.
Because at the end of the day, like everybody that I talk to that has kids is like, you're never gonna be ready.
You're never gonna be ready.
Yeah.
Just like somebody says, I'm waiting to invest in the market. How are you gonna time the market? Like
Right.
you can't time this time to have a child because any time is the right time. Unless you're homeless, unless you have a drug issue, you're an alcoholic.
Right.
I mean, or you're in an abusive marriage or an abusive relationship, please don't have children. Please. Children do not resolve domestic disputes.
Yeah.
They just exacerbate them. And then you've brought a child into this disaster. And it's just, I don't know what it is with people. I've had so many paternity cases in particular where they have domestic violence going on and they decide to have children with these individuals. It's like, why? It's not going to make it better. Children don't save you.
Yeah. I really like how we're taking this whole like children, like kids, like raising angle, because the immediate thing I wanna ask you is like, what do you consider more from a legal standpoint, a successful marriage?
Well, that's very subjective.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah.
Success for me, if I want to make it very simple, is that you are looking forward to going home.
Like you want to go home.
You want to go home. Home brings you peace. If your home brings you peace, you're doing something right. If your home does not bring you peace, then you have a problem that you need to resolve. If it's either related to the children or your spouse, I mean, you have to do the work to figure out what's causing the rift. But that would be my perfect marriage. Because for me, in my prior relationship, I didn't know what peace meant. I was in an abusive, emotionally, psychologically, and verbally abusive relationship for many years. And it destroyed me. It turned me into a shell. I needed a lot of therapy to kind of get to where I am today, right? And that house was not peaceful. Not in the morning, not in the afternoon, not in the evenings, not on vacation. I was always cursed at. I'm not going to get into the obscenities, but it was a horrible, horrible life that I was living. And so when I finally felt that peace in my own home years later, it just, I might as well have won $500 million in the lottery.
Wow.
Like, I can't put a price tag on that peace. So to answer this again, peace in the home. Oh, that's the mark of a successful marriage relationship.
Vanessa, so did you always know you wanted to be a lawyer?
No. People told me, the Cubans, esto va a ser abogada.
Sí.
Siempre está peleando. I could sell ice to
Eskimo.
To an Eskimo type of thing.
It's the same thing.
Very persuasive in what I want. If I wanted new shoes, I'd find a way to argue why I needed that, right? But truthfully, my heart was always with animals. I wanted to be a veterinarian for marine animals, like for dolphins and stuff like that.
You always had a nurturing soul.
Yeah.
And you still do.
I still do. Very much so.
Because you carry that both in your professional and in your personal life. And then what was the pathway to being a lawyer? Was it like something that was very linear, or did you kind of like go back and forth in that decision?
So my mom met this judge who passed away in 2006, His name was Judge Manny Crespo. And he became, I don't know where my mom and him met, to be honest with you. And she told him, my daughter wants to be a lawyer.
And at that time, you did it.
I did it. Right. So she tells me, hey, I found you this judge who says that you can go do your community service hours at the courthouse. I was like, all right, I'm in high school. I was 16. So I started going down to the criminal courthouse every summer break, every winter break, every spring break, without exaggeration.
Yeah, you were always there.
I was there, became friends with so many people there, the J.A. Ana Fernandez, who was amazing, the bailiff, Wendell. I mean, everyone there was extremely welcoming, and I fell in love with law in general. Mm-hmm. But at this point, I didn't know exactly where I wanted to practice or what I wanted to practice. But that's how I fell into it, really.
And when you were going throughout these breaks, what was it like a moment that you're like, okay, I want to do it? Or was it just kind of like, it just, it built up?
It built up. It started to feel natural. Like I would see these litigators, and then I would recognize the same traits in myself.
Right.
I'm like, well, maybe I am actually man. Then every single person who mentioned, estaba ser abogado, everything started coming back. I'm like, well, maybe they were right. And then that's
what resonated with you the most? Was it how they looked? Was it how they talked? Was it like just like their demeanor?
The demeanor, the presence. You walk into a room
aura.
And it's like,
yeah.
Oh, attorney so-and-so just walked into the room.
Right. Yeah, and I can imagine, since you're, just witnessing all the dynamic, you see Fulanito come in and everybody's like, oh.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Not that I crave power. That's not that's not what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like that respect that caught my attention. And then, I'm an English literature.
Because you're building a reputation.
Right. I'm an English literature major. I write a lot, so I would start reading everything. When I was older, obviously, to be able to read these motions and everything, because criminal court has a different practice than what I do. I write much more than these criminal law attorneys do, and it just felt natural. I'm like, okay, I love to read, I love to write, and I love to argue.
And it
perfect.
All that together.
That's it.
And then, as you're schooling, how was your journey to law school? Like, did you go right away? Did you take some time off?
So I went to FSU for undergrad. I did 5 years.
Alumni.
Because I didn't want to leave Tallahassee. I double majored in poli-sci and political science and English literature. And then I came back to Miami. Right after, I went to law school starting fall of 2008. And it was just a natural step from one moment to the next.
And you never wanted to work in government. You never wanted to work in any agency. No. You always knew, like in undergrad, hey, this is my trajectory to law.
Yeah. There was no other thought. Once I decided in high school that law was for me, it was fast track. I never thought or considered anything else.
Growing up very Cuban, si tú no vas a ser doctor, tú vas a ser abogado. And it said my mom, who's a nurse, and my dad was a doctor in Cuba, but then they started their own business, which was like the NCLEX Review, which helped, immigrants pass the nursing test. That's what my parents' business was together.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, and I was super inspired because I'm like, wow, like y'all took your story, because my mom, when she migrated, America doesn't recognize your professional licenses from other countries. Mm-hmm. So you literally have to start all over again. Yeah. But this 29-year-old isn't going to go back to traditional school with a kid and a rent to pay. So it's hard, language barrier, all that stuff, whatever. Yeah. So I always was, tú vas a ser doctor, tú vas a ser doctor. I was like, I can't stand blood, I hate a needle, no. Abogado it is, right? By default. So my whole life I grew up thinking, yeah, lawyer, that makes sense. And then I got to FIU and I started doing it, and I still thought, to the point where I took my LSAT, and I was like, oh my God, this is not fun.
And the LSAT is peanuts compared to the bar exam.
And those logic, I actually thought the logic games were like a little bit more mentally stimulating, but the whole like questions of like, you read a passage and, but he didn't do this, so what does he mean? I was like, no, I don't know what he meant.
Yeah, no. The LSAT, but the LSAT's not indicative of law school success.
I know. Tell that to FIU. They didn't take me. I know. So I was like, nah, I'm a shoo-in. I got a good GPA. I was super involved. Like, of course they're going to take me. I got a 148 on my first LSAT. And I was like, I need at least a 155 to get into FIU. Now I heard you need like a 160 or something like to get into FIU. So I'm like,
yeah, no. But FIU is a great law school. They really are. And it's in-state tuition for those who live here. So they're coming out with less debt than they would going to a private law school.
That was my plan. And long story short, I haven't gone back to school. I love what I do. But what do you think makes the qualities of a good lawyer, of a good attorney?
Somebody who understands their client, who can fundamentally relate and have empathy, right? Because every person, almost every client that comes to my office, perspective, after when they're current, the nerves are gone, right? Because they know who I am.
Yeah.
But they are nervous because they're expecting the attorney to be sitting on this throne, right? And most attorneys have that persona. I don't want to say that they're condescending, but they come off as, I'm smarter than you. I'm more successful than you. You're coming to me because you need me. I don't need you. And whether they believe it or not, that comes across. And so that's why we are not liked. I think we're the least liked profession on planet Earth.
No, people that work for the IRS.
What?
Tax collectors.
But they're not like professionals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm talking about like professionals, doctors, attorneys,
No,
architects.
people love their doctors.
Yeah. Well, to a certain, unless you wait 40 hours in the waiting room.
También.
And then the second waiting room.
Yeah.
You know that Seinfeld episode?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
I'm like aging myself in this interview.
No, it's fine. No, I've watched a couple Seinfeld episodes. I just feel so slow.
Oh my God, no, it's great.
Yeah.
I love that humor. But anyway, let's sidetracking. I forgot where we were going.
No, okay. The dynamic of attorneys and why attorneys are not very liked.
Yeah, no, we're not liked because we can't relate to our clients. They come to us understanding that they have, at least I'll speak for my industry, right, with family and matrimonial law. The clients are coming to us during very dark times, right? Or positive times, depending on who you're talking to, right? I've had clients who are like, I want to get divorced, I can't wait. And the other ones that are crying hysterically in my room.
Right.
And if you don't understand the pain that they're going through, you'll never be able to help them properly. Because you don't know how to guide them through the mess. My clients leave my office, generally, those that want to be helped, because I have some clients that don't want to be helped. And if I tell them, listen, I think you need to do this, you need to do this, do that, they shut off completely. And those are not my favorite clients. Those who want to be led to success, right? Here I go back to leading to success. I like to lead my children to success. I like to lead my clients, especially my female clients who are coming to me. Maybe they've been traditionally stay-at-home wives. They have no education. They have no work experience. They have no transferable skills to the workplace. Like, I want to make sure that they are set after the divorce, after this paternity case has been completed, because I understand their pain. I could relate to their pain. And most attorneys have a difficult time doing that. They're just a number. It's just money. Oh, I'm going to get a client. I'm going to litigate this case even more because I know that my retainer that was originally $10,000, if I just create 2 little issues, I'm going to multiply that to 30,000, 40, 50. But at the end of the day, the person you're affecting is your client. You
know what's crazy? Talking to my mom with her divorce, that's the exact feedback she had. She's like, estos abogados son tan caros para qué. Si a fin del día estamos en la misma. And she literally said how from her perspective, this was just dragged on for no reason. And she wishes, I mean, my parents now, they are not very much on speaking terms, but she wishes that they could have resolved it between themselves because they both would have saved a lot of money if they could have just, come to terms with, at the time, my brother was a minor. He's now 18, so I guess it's not as applicable, but, it was like the shared custody, the time sharing. You go see your dad on the weekends, but you live with your mom for the majority of the times, the child support, the this, the that. So is that why you would say that a prenup is really important?
Well, prenups don't handle anything with children. Children's issues are separate. And it's unconstitutional.
That's more for like division of assets and...
For future division of assets. So that protects what's called your non-marital assets. And if you're going to also include maybe like the appreciation of retirement accounts or your wages going forward, we could also classify wages as non-marital in a prenup. So there's a lot of things we can do with a prenup, but children issues is not one of them.
Should people get prenups?
So I don't believe in prenups.
Okay. That's interesting. Why?
When there's children involved, okay? If you are marrying someone, no, I have 2 different views on this.
No, that's crazy. I'm here like, what?
Right? So
that's a hot take.
If you marry someone with the intention of growing a family, then you're going to be a family. You're not going to have a piece of paper that says, well, what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours, because, it's not a business transaction. Family is family. Now, if you are marrying someone at 50, right, and you've acquired all these assets throughout your life, and you obviously are not going to have children at that time unless you adopt, or there's some miraculous thing that goes on with you.
So timing really matters for the prenup.
To me, timing matters. But my personal opinion on prenups, I don't think that a family should have one. Because then you have an easy way out.
And do you think, so contrary to what you're saying, some attorneys would be like, well, no, like at the end of the day, having a prenup actually probably helps you because it's like you're able to have those conversations.
Yeah, but then you're able to have those conversations. If you are married, you should not be having a conversation about dividing your assets and getting divorced.
I feel like you just hit like the Uno reverse card on me. You're like, I have them. Look what happens.
But it's the truth. You marry someone, it's till death do us part, right? Through health, through sickness,
through poor, through
everything,
riches, yeah.
Right? So Miami is infamous
for
just giving up on a relationship when it gets hard.
Oof.
Okay.
Say that again for the people in the
back. But it's the truth. Yeah. They meet. And I'm going to speak to my community because I am Cuban. A lot of Cuban men, and this is probably not going to come off right, but it is the truth, whether they want to hear it or not. They find a younger woman, and I can't say this for everybody, okay? But a nice chunk, they find a younger woman who has, the Miami look. What's the Miami look? Very, the fake lashes, the lips, the BBL, the perfect body.
Yup.
And then their wife, the wife that was there beside him.
Who saw him rise in ranks.
Right. Who helped you get to where you are today because she was there with your kids. She helped raise your children. She stayed home with the kids so you could work and build your business, build your industry. Now she's no longer serving your interests, your best interests, because she doesn't look her best. She gave up her entire life for this family. And now you're going to throw that away to get with somebody else. That's Miami.
That's the Wolf of Wall Street story.
Yeah.
Literally. You stuck through all the hard, you got all the brunt and none of the glory.
Yeah. And it's really sad because we don't value marriages the way that they should be valued. So then we have these prenups that come in and they're like, well, there's my easy way out.
I definitely agree with you. And I do think that kind of going back to the whole social media conversation that everything almost seems to have an expiration date and everything seems to not have as much commitment because you can just opt out, right? The same way how you can block somebody, the same way how we choose to consume what content, we're almost like, ya no me sirve ya. And I do think that, and at least from what my mom would tell me about marriage is that cuando la cosa se pone malo, tú tienes que ponerte ahí mismo. Because marriage isn't just when it's convenient. It's a partnership.
Yeah.
And you're going to have ups and downs. But I also do think that it goes back to you should be intentional with who you marry. And because it's such a big decision, I also feel like the double-edged sword on that is that people might rush to get married because they like the optics or the illusion of what a marriage is or what it might bring. Like, for example, in Miami, and this is I can only speak from like anecdote here. I would always see the kids in high school that did like military or JROTC. I was like, dude, you're 18, you're getting married, and all of them got married.
And guess what?
I know the benefits, and they're all divorced now. Literally, they're all divorced. And I'm just like...
But why? Because first responders have the highest level of divorces.
Because they cheat?
Yes, sir.
And police officers and nurses.
Police, firefighters. Let me not get started.
No, that's a real Miami conversation
right
now on cheating nurses and cops.
You have no idea.
Candela.
Military. They have the highest levels of failure in their marriages.
And why do you think that is?
Probably too much time.
Away from their spouse?
Firefighters, not necessarily. They just have too much freedom. Like firefighters work, 24 and then 48 off, right? Mm-hmm. Well, those 48 hours off. A lot of firefighters I know have other hobbies, other jobs, so they're hustling out there. But there's a lot of them that are not.
Yeah.
They have that time. They have freedom.
It's the accessibility.
And it's the uniforms too.
Oh, because what about the uniforms?
You have a lot of thirsty people out there.
They see a man in uniform. So that stereotype really,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He's
the
like,
uniforms.
I can see your experience.
The uniforms. It's crazy. But going back to, it's an interesting point that you brought up about, somebody meeting someone and then wanting to get married quickly. And I think that goes back to how we have been reprogrammed with social media. No, in general, of instant gratification.
Yeah.
That, this man is everything. I have to marry him now.
Yeah, that's the one.
I need to have a baby with him right now. You just met him 2 months ago. Please, ladies, do not have a child with someone you just met 6 months ago. I promise you, you have not seen the red flags.
No.
And your child will inherit those red flags.
I think it's a scarcity mentality where both men and women might feel like this is the best I can do, so I have to lock this down whichever way I can.
But that's a mental health issue.
See? And a self-perception.
Yeah.
Like I see myself as needing this other person so badly that I have to do what I have to do to make sure that they stay mine.
Yeah. And they think having a child locks it down. No, it doesn't. Because now you've opened up a world of child support, enforcement, time sharing, which means you're going to be with your child 50% of the time. Why? Because Florida says it's in the best interest of the child that the child be with each parent 50% of the time.
And I feel like that's just set up for failure. Like I don't know.
Yes and no. I mean, honestly, it works. It works when there are two healthy parents involved.
But they're not healthy most of the time.
When they are not healthy, then that creates problems.
Do you think co-parenting is possible?
Yes. I have seen it. I have seen it work. I'm going to give you a perfect example, and I'm not going to say who it is, but someone very close to me, his ex-wife comes over to his house and spends time, and she's remarried, she has another kid, and they go on vacations together.
That takes a lot of maturity, though. I don't know. I'm not like, would I do that? I don't know.
I mean, it's for your child, right? Like, I mean, you guys don't love each other anymore. You don't see each other that way, but you love your child enough to look past the issues you once had.
I know, but my man ego would be like, este es el otro.
But that's your ego.
I'm being honest, yeah. I'd be like, no, con el otro.
Oh. Your ego should not be involved.
Pero yo tengo otra too, but it's like, oh man.
But your ego shouldn't be involved when you have children. It should be your child above all.
Damn, I shouldn't have kids yet. No, because I'm telling you right now, I'm like, I gotta stand on that. I'll be like,
no, but it's true. Like your feelings should not go before the child's best interest and his or her feelings, right?
God, but I'm really trying to put myself in that position right now, and I'm like, vacation?
I mean, to be honest,
I'm making homeboy pancakes? I'm sorry, I don't know.
So I probably couldn't do it myself because of my circumstances.
Yeah, I was what?
But, there are people that get along well like that, and they can co-parent. So is it possible? Yes. Does it take incredible emotional maturity? Yes.
Yeah.
Do most people have that? No.
But I can totally see the child in there coming out way better for it.
Of course.
Because it's almost like the social proof that, okay, this didn't work, but they care enough about me to make it work.
Yeah.
And seeing that reinforcement probably would help you later down the line. So it probably has a better effect. Not better, but I'm saying like it has a very profound effect when you can actually co-parent properly and the child is like, oh, mira, like I get it. Like they're not together, but they are together and I'm the unifying force.
And because they love me.
Yeah.
So it reinforces the fact that you are loved.
Yo.
Heavy duty.
Yo. I don't know. I feel like it really made me want to question like, damn, am I that selfless? I mean, I haven't had a kid, and I know that when you have, everybody tells me that when they have a kid, like just like a switch turns on in your head, you're like, oh, it's not about me anymore.
No, well, for some.
Right.
Not for all. Right. Not for all. Because a lot of people see children as property. You are mine. You are mine.
I feel like I see kids as property. Yeah, kind of. I'm not speaking. Okay, let's children are not property.
They're not your property. They're not. You brought them into this world. They are your children, but you're here to mold them, to help them become somebody. You don't control their thoughts and the actions that they take, unless it's not they're doing something that's destructive. Obviously, you're gonna have to step in with an iron fist. But
it brings me to a political topic, which is parental choice.
Okay.
Right? Like, and that's why I feel like I believe that children are their parents' property, because at the end of the day, you have a fiduciary responsibility to that child.
Correct.
You have a safety, right? Like I have to provide a livable environment for you. And when I think of child, I think of like toddler, not teenager. I think of like
those are very much children.
Right. No, for sure.
Looking at my daughter.
I mean, adults are children too, but depends who you ask. But I always felt like, because I've always been an advocate for parent choice. Like, oh, if I want to put my kid in private school, I have a right to do that.
Right.
If I want my kid to go to public school, I have a right to do that. If I don't want my kid to learn about sexual education in school, I have, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've always have been a proponent of, well, the parent has the ultimate deciding factor on the child's life. And I guess that just bled into how they dress, what they eat, what they... ¿Tú me entiendes? Obviously, you're going to have consideration for their happiness, or at least you would hope.
You would hope.
You would hope. So that's it. I feel like you really challenged like my belief system just now. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's a fine line, right?
Right.
If you're going to talk political,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
and you are talking about certain social issues that have and can potentially have incredibly negative effects on your future, when we're talking about body and our autonomy, then I think parents have the absolute power to say you shouldn't or you can do this. But when it comes to the way I was talking about property is, this is my child. I don't need to share him or her with the father.
Okay. Going back to like the whole using the child as like
correct. Yeah. I'm not talking about, like transgender issues or anything like that. That's not really what I was delving into or prepared to discuss on the camera right now.
Lito.
But like, that's what I was referring to. That they just say, no, es mía. Yo tuve esa niña, yo la tuve. It's like, no, you don't have sperm. His sperm implanted into your egg and created a child. So both of you together did something to create. So it's not your property. So that's what I was more referring to.
I got you. I got you. No. It really challenged. I was like, wow. And that's what I love about this podcasting stuff. Like, I get to hear different perspectives, and it almost makes me, because at the end of the day, I don't think we had a disagreement. I think really more it was just like a different perspective on the same topic. And what I always tell people with these political-esque conversations is that by learning the other side, you will know, man, I really like my side. Like, I really like what I like. Or it's like, mira tú,
But that's because you're emotionally mature. And you could listen to other perspectives.
For this.
Not in the streets.
No. El otro. Chacho. What?
No, but you could listen to somebody and say, you know what, that's an interesting take on that issue. Maybe I didn't think of it that way. Whereas a lot of people, if not the majority, they're just so dead set in the ways they are, there's no changing them.
No, there's not. So you've been an attorney for a while. You've done many different cases. What would you say separates you from other attorneys?
My empathy. Because I have been the child of divorced parents. I have been the victim of horrible co-parenting. I have been divorced, and I can relate to all aspects of what your present situation is, because I have that. I have those memories.
Yeah.
And I bring those into my practice, right? I will never think that your feelings are invalid unless they're completely irrational.
Right.
Right? Like making up that your child is being sexually abused to gain a further advantage in the case. No. I don't play with that in my office. Right? But if your feelings and your experiences are valid, rooted in truth, there's a lot of lying going on in Miami, and Broward, and Palm Beach, everywhere, South Florida in general, then I will advocate for you because I know what you're feeling. And it's tough. It's very hard being involved in a family litigation case.
No, es que this is probably the most emotional part of someone's life.
Yeah.
I know that this is comparable to a death or just super traumatic event, and it's very hard to separate the business of marriage and the emotions behind that relationship. Oh, I did this for you, you did this to me, and everything else in between. And I can totally see, especially in our Hispanic community, the weaponization of this process to get back at somebody.
Yeah.
Using their kids, not using their kids, using the law.
Money.
Yeah. Because they have more resources.
Cutting you off or litigating you out of your comfort zone, like there's...
It's the ugly side.
It's a very ugly side.
That's for another podcast. That's a whole other topic.
There's really ugly sides to this.
Pero,
man. I always tell people, you don't know who you're married to until you're getting divorced.
Yeah. Pero in conclusion, what is the most rewarding part of divorce for your clients? that you could speak to?
So, two different types of divorces. I'll talk about the first one, no children. Either it's becoming free from the shackles of somebody who no longer served you, right? Who is, getting divorced and starting your life anew and being happy, something you haven't felt happiness. There's a lot of older individuals that I've been divorcing recently. We're talking about like 30, 40-year marriages who have dealt with a ton of infidelity their entire life, and they just are fed up. And they're like, you know what? I'm not going to retire. I'm not retired. They're already retired. I'm not going to die in this situation. So now they're getting divorced at 70, 75 because they want to feel that sense of happiness. That's really sad.
So the common theme is almost like liberation.
Liberation from the shackles of something that no longer serves you. And then on the other side with children, for me, like I told you from the beginning, it's helping the children. And if I know that I have established something that is in the best interest of that child, I have done my job. Okay. So.
Well, Vanessa, thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Hell yeah.
Having me, not having us. Can we do?
No.
Thank you for having me.
Ahí estamos.
Us and all my personalities.
Yeah. No.